The views expressed by our guests in the following video are solely the opinions of our guests and do not necessarily reflect the views and or opinions of the Ola 7 podcast show. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello guys and welcome to the Genius Kids Show. This is the show where we sit down and celebrate young minds, young talents, young passions that are already shaping the future. And I am your host, Aisha Nyanzunda. And today I am sitting down with a genius, guys. You know, I think this is the epitome of genius because this guy wrote his O-levels only at 12 years old and he managed to pass. Okay, so let me give you the story. So this guy is in Form 1, right? And then he decides, I'm going to drop out of school and then I'm going to try and do my O-levels. And he does exactly that. In 7 months, he prepared for his exams, wrote them, and then he passed. And now he's already doing a diploma in accounting. So my guest today is Divine Samuriwo. Hello, Divine, and welcome to the show.
Aisha, thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much for coming. So we want to just start off by getting to know you a little bit better. So if you can just introduce yourselves.
Okay, my name is Divine Samuriwo. I am 13 years old. I learn at Premier Business School and I'm an aspiring chartered accountant.
Chartered accountant. We'll talk about that later. But right now, I want to know what made you realize that you didn't want to follow the traditional schooling system and wanted to do homeschooling instead?
I just felt like for what I wanted to do in the subjects I was doing at school, it was going to be a tough 4 years. Plus, I've always skipped. I was in grade 1 when I was 5 years.
Is it?
I wrote my grade 7 when I was 10 years.
Wow.
So maybe just runs in the
You've
blood.
always been just skipping it a little bit. All right. And then there's this thing that you did. You convinced your parents that you don't want to continue doing school the traditional way. You wanted to drop out. How do you convince your parents?
My father he was comfortable with it. He was like, yeah, just taking a risk. He was more of a risk taker. My mom is the one who was a perfectionist. She was like, what about why don't you do tutors and stuff? But after a bit of convincing, I convinced her because it was more productive if I did it at home than at school, because teachers, they need to move and finish the syllabus. At school, you can ask as many questions until you understand.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And then the teachers also have to cater for everyone.
Yes.
But if you're doing it on your own, then you move at your own pace.
Yeah.
All right. So you were studying at home. What was the biggest challenge about studying at home on your own, and how did you overcome it?
I think my biggest challenge was really time management, because I had to learn a lot of stuff which was brand new in such a short period of time and finish all the syllabuses. But after a bit of practicing, I got to pull through.
All right. And speaking of time, most people, including myself, took 4 years studying so that we'd take our O-level exams. But you did it in just 7 months. How did you manage that?
It was just like, you need to, if you're hardworking, dedicated, and have passion for doing something, you can even do it in maybe even 6 or 5 months. if you have the passion for something. So really, I just put in the work, I put in the hours. If you have hard work, perseverance, you can do anything.
All right. And speaking of studying at home and time management, what was your schedule like? Because if you're going to school, you wake up at 6, at 8, you should be in class. Then by 4, you're done. Then you come back, you do homework and repeat. But what does it look like when you're homeschooling? What does the schedule look like?
I usually woke up between 7 and half 7. I would then do my prep for what I wanted to do that day. Maybe then I would wait for my father. If I ever wanted assistance from him, I would always call him if he's around. So at 1 o'clock, I had a tutor I would go to for just an hour. So after that, I would just study. And then in the evening, I would have another tutor, just about an hour again. So really after 8 o'clock, I was kind of free. I would just revise a bit of stuff, but that was really my timetable.
So how many tutors were you working with?
Just 2.
Just 2?
Yeah.
All right. And what resources were you using to study besides your tutors?
I was using websites, my ebooks, notes from online, and also YouTube videos, because these days you can just go on YouTube, search whatever you want to learn, and it will pop up.
All right. Okay, cool. And we're talking about a time where you're just 12 years old, right? And all work and no play makes John a dull boy. You're a kid, you need to play. How are you balancing, Kuti? Ndukufana ku follow my schedule for studying. At the same time, I need to make time to play. I need time for recreation.
I will just make a timetable. If I had a timetable, I'll know that from this specific time to this time, I'm doing something. Then after that, I'll take a break or of some sort, and then I'll play. Then after my fellow colleagues came from school, we'd usually just play soccer and other games. So really, it was quite difficult at first, but I got adjusted to it a few months after.
All right. And I know you wrote 6 subjects, right? That was in November. And of the 6, you passed 4.
Yes.
And then now I'm going to ask you a question, because I think I kind of know the answer to this one. Of the 6 subjects that you were studying at home, which one was the hardest for you?
The hardest for me, I didn't really have a subject I would call hard. But I had subjects which were brand new.
Okay.
Plus, I had to learn all of the syllabuses in such a short period of time. So that's where I would say I didn't really have a hard subject. At first, it was maths, but after that, yeah.
Okay. So how challenging was maths for you? And what are you going to do better next time?
I would say maybe revise a bit more, because I was concentrating on really the few subjects I had to do for me to be able to progress to A level and the diploma. So maths, I didn't have really time to study for it. I was just concentrating on these other subjects. So I would say I'll practice more, understand the syllabus, generally just improve where I went wrong.
All right. So when I read your story in the H Metro, right, it said that you were inspired by another genius kid. Her name is Maud Shifamba, and she's actually a chartered accountant.
Yes.
So what is it about Maud that inspired you?
I would say how she did O's and A's at only 13 years old, and also went to the University of Zimbabwe at 14. So really I was inspired by watching a video and thought, why not just give it a try?
So when you were doing all this, you were just giving it a try.
Yes.
Look at him being so humble and so nonchalant about it. And I was just giving it a try. So your parents supported you throughout your journey, right? And they're still supporting you. What would you say is the biggest piece of advice that your parents have given you?
I would say the biggest piece of advice they gave me was, don't let anyone despise you or criticize you because of your age. Even if you're too young to do something or too old to do something, as long as you love to do that thing, do it.
All right. That is very good advice, because genius knows no age, right?
Yes.
And what would you say to other kids who feel like the schooling process, the traditional schooling process, is too slow for them? But when I can't drop out of school,
Ndawasachike kufoira, because failure is just a part of life. When you fail, of course you don't plan to fail, you plan to pass. But if you fail, you now know where you went wrong. So you shouldn't not do something because you're scared to fail. You do something because you love to do that thing.
All right. So now we're going to talk about the diploma. So you are 13 years old. You recently turned 13. But you started doing this diploma at the age of 12.
Yeah.
A diploma in ACA. So maybe just for the benefit of those who don't know, you can explain to us what ACA is. And then you tell us why at the age of 12, instead of playing video games, you're pursuing a diploma. All right.
ACA is just basically a board. ACA is for people who it's really for financial accountants. So with ACA, what you do is there's about 3 stages. If you're not done your A level like I had, you have to go through like a foundation stage where you write 3 subjects. There are 30 subjects in total you have to write. So the first year you do 3, the second year you do about 6, I think, and then the third year you do the last 4.
Right.
So at the third year you get 6 months working experience, and then they give you a diploma. Then they give you your ACA certificate. So at my age, at 12, I just felt like if I wanted to become a chartered accountant, why not just do it instead of waiting for this entire period of time? Because other people do it when they're now after A level. The people I learn with are almost like 4 or 5 years older than me. so at my age, I just felt like than to play video games and wait until the age to do it. Why not just pursue it now and get my ACA certificate and then do my articles with an audit firm?
Okay, you have this whole thing planned out, but I want to find out, when did you know or when did you decide that accounting is the life for me?
From soon as I started after just grade 7, I've always been fascinated by my father when he went to work. He would always come back and tell me stories about how he did his deals at work, how he negotiated. So I was always like, I want this life for myself. Because I would see him traveling, going to different places, doing meetings. At times, he wouldn't be home for almost a week.
All right.
It'd be on business trips. So I was like, I really enjoy traveling. So I just feel like accounting was... I've always loved figures.
All
I've
right.
always loved...
You're a numbers person.
Yes. I didn't do well in maths, but I like counting money.
All right, okay. So what's the most exciting or the most interesting thing you've learned so far in your work or in your studies with ACA?
With ACA, I would say I really liked, especially I like all my classes, but this class of business and technology, they really teach you how to incorporate technology into business these days. So they really teach you about strategy. They teach you about strategy. They teach you about management, vision setting. So that really, I just really enjoy learning about that stuff.
Okay. Speaking of vision setting, you're this young man with a vision who sees his future so clearly. You have this whole thing planned out. And probably in the next 5 years, you have your ACA qualification. What do you see yourself doing in the next 5 years?
Hopefully doing my articles with the audit firm, such as EY, Deloitte, abroad, because it closed down. But I would really love to do with those, and also KCMP.
I don't know what that means, so maybe just explain it to me and everyone else who doesn't know what that means.
About which one? KCMP?
Yes.
The KCMP. So really just another audit firm in Zimbabwe. Almost the same as the others. It's just a name.
Oh, now you're schooling us on audit firms. Okay, cool. And when I was reading the article in the H Metro, like, that's where I said, I want to talk to this young man. I read that article and I'm like, I should sit down with this young man and get to know him better. I read that you want to be your own boss. What kind of business do you see yourself running?
Hopefully an accounting firm of my own, or also an audit firm of my own in future. And on the side, running my father's business.
Mm-hmm. And if you could work at any audit firm in the world, what would that be?
Deloitte.
Why Deloitte?
It's the biggest.
Okay, so you want the biggest and the best for you.
Yeah, plus just exposure. You meet a lot of really big people in the industry.
Okay, cool. So we have talked about that. Now let's talk about the exams. How did you study your 6 subjects? Like, I want for you to give others studying tips. Because, some people are taking 4 years and you did it in 7 months. And then there's some people who do it in 4 years and still fail. Yes. So, what are my studying tips?
All right, my study tips. I would say have a timetable. Be organized. Don't just say, don't just wake up and start trying to see what I'll do today. Have a vision. Set goals for yourself. Like today, maybe I want to read maybe 10 pages of this book. Today, I want to write this. I want to practice this mock exam. So really just have timetables. Also, don't be scared to ask. Also research online and stuff. There's a lot of ebooks, notes, videos on YouTube. If you don't understand someone, you can always change it. Right. So I would say those are the study tips I would really give to everyone.
Right. And now let me take you back to October, November of 2024 when you were actually writing your exams. How was the schedule like? Were you still going through lessons with your tutors and then you go write your exams? What was time looking like for you then?
Time then was like, wake up, I'll study. If I didn't have an exam that day, I would go to my tutors. And then every day I would always have a evening lesson with one of my tutors. So it was like a day lesson and an evening lesson. If I had an exam, I wouldn't go to my day lesson. I would just do it online just before the exam. And in the evening, I would always go to that lesson. So there was a lot of pressure at that period of time because some of the dates, there was a period where there was an entire week, every single day I had to write exams for 5 days straight.
Okay.
So I couldn't do my personal in touch with my tutors. So I had to like study day and night, in and out, because I had exams around maybe in the afternoon. So I had to study in the morning, study for the next exam during the evening, and in the morning next time.
All right. Now let's go to the morning or maybe a few hours before the exam, because it's a very crucial time. Would say exam requirements. What are you supposed to do just before an exam to make sure you're in the right state of mind?
Okay.
Yeah.
Just before an exam, don't try and overwhelm yourself. Don't try and cram. Because if you cram, you might forget it in the exam. I don't discourage cramming. I'm just advising people not to cram.
Yeah.
Because just before exam, you don't want to put pressure on yourself. And also you have to get a good night's sleep. So just flip through your book. Just flip through some notes. Don't try and do question papers. Because I'm not so feeling it on my exam. My question, I think I can see it.
Yeah. Okay, that's true. And during the exam, no panic. How do you keep composure and just make sure your mind is in the right state to do well in the exam?
I would say breathe in and breathe out. If you feel like you're panicking, don't try and write while you're panicking. Breathe in, breathe out. Try and calm yourself down. Just take maybe maybe a minute or 2 minutes. You have to try and put your body in the state that I'm in an exam.
All right. Okay. Now we're going to after the exam. So when I was in school, I had a problem. Revise after exam. Like, pa number 5 was your one 34. Apa iwe wa 5.6.
Yeah.
So how do you also like make sure that after exam you keep your composure and start preparing for the next exam? Because I'm sure you need that state of mind where you're like, this is over and done with. I need to be going on to the next. Yeah.
If you know that maybe I didn't do well in this exam, rather than sulk, just start preparing for the next exam. Then maybe after exams, you can start saying, just in case my results come and I didn't do so well, let me start revising so that you get a head start. I would the next time you're now writing, wakanga and you have to start from step 1. So after an exam, you're done with it. Whatever comes, it comes. Let me focus on the next one. That's what I would say. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So now I'm going to ask a personal question. When you were writing, did you know up and that or did you know up and I sideways?
I would say there were exams where I was like 50-50 perhaps. Then there were exams where I knew I wouldn't get below a D on this one.
Okay.
Then there were exams where I was like, I leave it up to God now.
Just sit up now.
Yeah, now sure, don't worry.
Okay. Now we're going to talk about the results. Out of the 6 subjects you wrote, you passed 4. You had an A in commerce, and then several B's, and then a D and an E. We'll start with the A, the commerce. Why do you think you excelled in commerce so much?
There was a point in time where I would complete a commerce multiple choice question, which usually takes about an hour or an hour 15. I think my personal best was 6 minutes.
Wait, an exam that's meant for an hour you would do in 6 minutes.
While practicing, not in the exam room.
Yeah.
While practicing.
Yeah.
So commerce, there was a stage where I knew almost everything in commerce. I really was fascinated by commerce. Plus the syllabus was almost all the same with business and economics.
Okay.
So it was like I'm just combining my subjects at this point. Kwanza kwa commerce, not kwanza economics. So commerce is also quite easy though.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's what geniuses say. So what would you say is your favorite topic, commerce?
Commerce, I would say it is globalization and imports and exports. I'm just fascinated how people
Trade.
sell stuff abroad and import stuff abroad, plus globalization, like connecting the world. Like Zimbabwe may export gold all the way to Asia or something. So that I think that was my favorite topic in commerce.
Right. Interesting. And then you had a B in business studies, in economics, and what was the third one? Accounts.
Yes.
All right. This is in 7 months.
Yes.
Something that people fail in 4 years. You know, it's very fascinating to me. That's why I keep repeating the 7 months, 4 years. Because, for example, I failed accounts. I did accounts for 4 years and I still failed it. But you did it in 7 months and passed. Why the B's? Why do you think you couldn't get to the A?
I would say that I think especially like subjects like economics. That's what I didn't get an A because there are many graphs. In economics, there are graphs you need to understand. So maybe ndofunga ndakafiringidza my graphs with other things. Like maybe I may put a supply curve, draw a supply curve instead of a demand curve in economics. So I think that's why I didn't do too well.
No, but you did well though.
Yeah.
You're 12 and you did this in 7 months, so you did very well. But I think I need to give you this one. Okay. And then the D and the E. The D was in math.
No, English.
In English. And then the E was in mathematics.
Yes.
But we already talked about the math. You said you didn't get enough practice.
Yes.
What do you think happened with the English?
English, I would say that, especially in paper 2, usually just English, I didn't do first language. I did like the normal Zimsek English. So I just thought it was going to come with general compositions, maybe a letter, or maybe a report.
Oh, okay. So you took the Zimsek syllabus and put it to Cambridge. That's where you went wrong.
Yeah, something like that. Because vakazounza ma article.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to write an article in paper 2.
Ooh.
So I had no idea how to even write an article. So I think that's when Panabo Bondere Pabo.
All right, that's fine. And I know you're going to try again.
Yes.
And I know you will ace it this time around. And when you do ace it, I'll definitely call you back here and then we'll sit down and talk about it. Or maybe we'll get to chat when you finally get that diploma.
Yeah, maybe.
All right. And now let's talk about your personal life, the fun stuff. What do you do for fun when you're not studying?
When I'm not studying, I usually I just play outside. I play soccer with my friends, or just practice alone. I usually just play games either on my computer or my PlayStation.
Speaking of soccer, which position do you play in?
Huh?
Soccer, which position do you play in?
I'm usually a midfielder. I'm also sometimes a goalkeeper. At worst case, maybe a defender.
Okay. And then we might fight about this one. Which one is your favorite local team?
My local team. Dynamos.
Okay, we'll fight. Mine is Zimbabwe. And then now let's get to the English League. Which one is your team?
English League.
Yeah.
Maybe Liverpool. I used to be a Man City, but
you should stay loyal to your team.
There were too many. 11 losses in 11 games and only one win.
Okay, so what would you say was the best thing about being homeschooled?
The best thing about being homeschooled, you can do it on your own pace. You don't have to rush. Also, This may be a fact why my mother didn't want me to do homeschooling. I wore personal clothes. I didn't have to wear uniforms every day.
So did you not miss your friends when you're being homeschooled? Because can't go back and break again.
I did miss them, but in life you lose some, you win some.
Alright.
So I made new friends in the process, and I lost some friends from it. But I'm still in contact with them. We always chat. Just that some of them live very far away from where I live.
Alright.
So we don't really meet up that much.
All right. Divine, as I'm talking to you, I'm seeing someone who's going to be very successful
Thank
in
you.
life. And if you could meet one successful person and ask them something, who would it be?
Can I mention 3?
Okay, cool.
The first one I think I would meet is Elon Musk.
We all want to meet Elon Musk. The richest man in the world. We have to.
Yes.
Yeah, but why do you want to meet Elon?
I want to ask him how he dealt with all the rocket stuff and failing. His maybe stuff blowing up or not succeeding when he wanted to do. So I wanted to ask him, how did he get the motivation to keep trying? And how did he accumulate so much wealth at such a young age?
Okay. He has a book, though, a biography by Elon Musk. I think you can read that one, and maybe some of your questions will
I
be
think it will answer my questions. Yes.
Yeah. And then number 2?
Number 2, I would love to meet Maudi Chifamba.
Okay.
I want to ask her how she dealt or coped with the pressure at such a young age. But she did the A-level and O-level when she was 13. She went to USET when she was 14. And I read the article and she said she was being treated like a jungle animal.
Okay. All right. So I also want to sit down with Maud. So maybe when that happens, it will be you, I, and Maud.
Yes, yeah,
there,
we'll come
and
there, yes.
Yeah. Okay. And then number 3.
It's unfortunate he passed away, but I would love to meet Steve Jobs,
Okay.
the creator of Apple. I want to ask him how he made so many people envy him because of his inventions, but still managed to push through and make Apple such a huge company today.
Oh, okay. And then you went to Zanzibar. Was that a celebration that you had done this amazing thing, or was it just a holiday?
It was almost like a celebration and just to relax. Like after the 7 months of craziness, let's just go and refresh.
Okay.
So I didn't go there because it was just really celebration and just unwinding myself. Yeah.
And what would you say was the best part about that trip?
The best part of the trip, you would go to there was this place. You take a boat to go to this place called Safari Blue. So you get to swim with dolphins. You meet dolphins. And then you go and meet fish. You get to swim with fish. So you can get into the water and you have like a little box which has some food. So you would see the fish gather up to you wanting the breadcrumbs. Then after that, you just have like a seafood lunch on this island or so. Yeah.
Interesting. I hope to go to Zanzibar one day.
Yeah, you should. It's really fun.
All right. So, Divine, I've had a great time talking to you. And then I think it would be unfair if I don't give you a chance to say something to the people who have been with you on this incredible journey that you're still on. I'm giving you this time to just say whatever you want to the people who have been with you, who have been supporting you throughout your journey.
I like to thank my mother for always supporting me, even when I was like, this thing is hard, I want to give up. She'd always be like, just push through, just do it. It'll be over before you know it. I also like to thank my father. He always was there. Sometimes we even go to work like, today I want to help you. So sometimes he would sacrifice his work just to be with me. I also like to thank my sisters for always coming to see me. I used to live in Gweru. They lived here in Arar. So they would often come and see me in Gweru, just be like, how are you doing? We just want to, have fun with you. We just want to encourage you to do stuff. I also want to thank my little brother for being annoying at times.
They're all annoying.
Boss, you will see that my little brother was like, you're just fuera. So I was like, I want to thank him for motivating me to pass.
You wanted to prove him wrong.
Yeah, I want to prove him wrong.
Okay.
So and also my other family members in Baitbridge for always being there for me, always texting me, asking how I'm doing, asking if you need anything. Like my aunt, she brought me this calculator which was needed for the exam. We couldn't find it anywhere in Gweru, so she bought me for that calculator and came all the way. She lives in the UK, so she came all the way from the UK just to give me that calculator.
That is so sweet.
Yeah.
All right. And speaking of people who we appreciate, I also want to take this time to appreciate your mom. I think she's one of the most easiest going parents I've ever talked to. Because, when you want to talk to a child, you go through their parents. And with your mom, it was just so simple. I gave her a phone call. She was like, okay, it's fine. Where do you want him and what time? And then I said, on Saturday. And she said, oh, no, he's not around this Saturday. But next Saturday, I'll make sure he's there. So I want to take this time to just thank your mom. She's just a very easygoing person.
Yeah.
All right, Divine. And at this point, I want you to encourage other people out there who want to pursue their dreams, who want to follow their passions. What word of advice do you have for them?
I would say to the people who want to follow their dreams, don't give up. Even when it feels hard, just keep on going. You will never go wrong. Even if you fail at times, just keep on trying. You will always succeed in the end. Plus, have dedication and know what you want to do. Don't let other people choose the things that you should do. Know what you want to do. Have a passion for something, and you do great.
So word of the day is follow your passions from Divine Samuriwo, the 12-year-old who wrote his exams. At the age of 12, he passed 4 out of 6 of his subjects, which he had only prepared for in 7 months, something that some of us took 4 years to do and still did not manage to accomplish. So yes, he is a genius, and it has been the Genius Kids. I am your host, Aisha Nyanzunda. Catch us again, same time next week for more of these inspiring, insightful conversations with our young geniuses. Thank you.